Good afternoon, everyone. Stephanie Acosta Castro, Director of Support and Compliance. Just to echo what Sabrina said, thank you so much for being here. So we're going to talk to you about Policy 4900, which is the audio and visual recording of self-contained ESE classrooms. We are going to go over the policy, how it's impacted by the Parents' Bill of Rights, how you can track the parental consent, the site implementation guide, and then, of course, some next steps. We'll be sharing some information with you throughout, and then we'll be staying on in case you have any questions, as Sabrina mentioned. So Policy 4900 is a local policy that was board approved yesterday during the special school board meeting. It provides a self-contained ESE classroom with audio-visual recording once all the parents of the class have provided written consent. So this is a little different than the pilot program. In the pilot program, a parent had to request a camera, and then we had to go through the motions. Because of that Parents' Bill of Rights component, the school board has directed us to take out kind of that request piece. And what we're going to be doing is once we have consent from all the parents in the classroom that are eligible for that self-contained classroom, so your pre-Ks, your ASD, your EBDs, your SVEs, those classes, then the camera will be placed and activated. Camera footage is going to be retained for 30 days. The way that this policy was passed at the local level, if a parent requests to view an alleged incident, that film or that piece of the day or portion of the day or time frame that the parent is requesting has to be sent over to Beacon, and it will have to be redacted within 7 days, and then a time will be scheduled with the parent for them to come in and sit with an administrator and review that footage. Now, the footage that is viewed is only dependent on an alleged incident, not a confirmed
The only
incident.
thing you might want to help her remember is I put 12 bottles of water in
I'm so
where,
sorry, someone is off of
uh,
mute, so I'm just going to ask you to please take a check and make sure that you're muted. Thank you. We just don't want all that coming out in the recording. Following the redaction, the policy does allow for parental review. So for those of you that were sitting in administrative seats during the pilot, you know that the principal would first review the footage, and then once the alleged incident was either captured or available, then that's when the footage would go to Beacon for redaction. At this point, if the parent is saying, hey, I think something happened, the morning of July 30th, we're going to review the footage still because you need to be able to let Beacon know who's the student in question and which students to redact, but then that parent's still going to have the opportunity to come in and view that footage. Now, with the Parents' Bill of Rights, every parent in the class does have to provide written consent for audio-visual recording of the self-contained ESE classroom. So we've been working very diligently with our programming friends in the Focus SSS data intelligence world, and they have created a way for the parental consent form to be in Focus, along with other, back to school forms and other forms that parents fill out. It will be available to ESE students. Parents will go in, they will complete the form. The parent will get an automated response within the platform that says, thank you for your request. I'm sorry, for providing consent. If your child's classroom is eligible and written consent is achieved from all students, then a camera will be placed and activated, and you will receive a letter from the school site. Parental consent is driven by the parent, and it can change throughout the year. So if a parent wants to revoke their consent at one point during the year, or if a student is newly found eligible or is going to be transitioning from maybe the gen ed setting into that self-contained setting, that parent will have the opportunity to go in and either provide and or not provide consent. Additionally, a paper copy can be printed. The parent can complete it, and then it can be uploaded into Focus so that we have that paper trail and we have that historical data of the parent's decision. We want to make sure with the Parents' Bill of Rights that we're not infringing on any of their rights. So how will we be able to track it? The nice thing about it being in Focus is that there's going to be two types of reporting. One's a classroom tracking report. So it will tell you the classrooms that you have in your building, and you're going to help us with that in the next few slides. And it will tell you what % is that classroom at. So if you need to know, hey, Miss Acosta teaches self-contained EBD, and I need to know if she's at 100% yet, you'll have a report and you'll see, oh, she's only at 98%. That will give you the class overview. Then there will also be a student tracking report where you can not only pull Miss Acosta's class, but see the individual students in her class so that you, as the administrator, know, is it because a parent signed no? Is it because a parent hasn't completed the form yet? So those reports will be made available to you. It's important to also note that the student file, so the information will travel with the student. So if a student does a hardship transfer mid-year, you're not having to run around and have any staff follow up with the parent. Once that student is a part of your school, you'll be able to go into the focus system and you'll be able to see not only what their current consent is, but any historical consent they had as well. I do want to let you know that you're going to be getting extremely explicit instructions on a lot of the things that we're talking about today. But as we mentioned, we just wanted to go ahead and get in front of you and provide you with this information because we know that you might start receiving phone calls from parents or phone calls from the community, and we want to make sure that you're aware of this new policy. So we do need some help in creating those reports. So I know that you may not know your fish data off the top of your head at 3:30 in an afternoon, but the next slide is going to let you know where you can go to get that information. And I will upload this presentation as a PDF into the chat when we conclude. And we ask that please, if possible, by end of day tomorrow, if you could complete this survey. Sabrina will also be placing the direct link in case you're not in a position right now to take a picture with your phone on the screen into the chat.
Eagle Point.
I'm so sorry,
Eagle
somebody's
Point,
unmuted again.
99.65 schedule.
If Eagle Point could please
1100.
mute.
Excuse me, can you go back to the slide with the QR
Yes,
code
of
1 minute?
course. Yes. Am I good
Got
to
it.
go
Thank
on and
you.
do a ton of hands? Okay, perfect. And you'll get everything at the end of the presentation. So how do you find your fish numbers? There's actually two ways that you can go in and find your fish. We only need to know the fish rooms for the rooms that you've designated as self-contained classrooms for the 25-26 school year. If you're not sure if it's a self-contained classroom or you need any help, you can reach out to the ESE department. Sabrina's going to be in data dives tomorrow, but you can reach me, you can Teams me, you can chat us. We will be here to support you through this process. So anything that you need, please do not hesitate to reach out. So in option 1, you can go through your master scheduling report. And then on option 2, you can go through your courses and your schedules, and the instructions are here. Again, your IMT may also be a little bit more familiar with these steps, which is why if please, again, you could have this to us by tomorrow afternoon, that would be greatly appreciated. Coming forward is also going to be the site implementation guide. For those of you that were around during the pilot, it was a comprehensive manual that included all the multi-department collaborations. If you had questions for professional standards, if you had questions for Beacon, it was kind of a one-stop shop. That will be released, but we're still putting some finalized touches on it. So we will definitely let you know when that is released, and it will also follow up with a pivot memo. But for right now, in the immediate, if you need any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to the ESE department. And if we're not the right department, we'll definitely make sure that we get you everything that you need and walk you through and help you with those steps. Because we want to make sure that our families know that we are working in unison to get this forward. So before I transition to our next slide, I just want to do some reminders of what we went over today. Starting as between tomorrow and Friday, the parent consent form will be made available in the Focus Parent Portal. The ESE department will take the lead on sending out a parent link to parents with the steps and how to access that. We will also make sure that those steps are provided to you, 1, via this chat, and 2, we'll send them out through your teaching and learning directors so that you have them and your school staff has them if they need to walk anybody through that process, either over the phone or in person at the school site. Oh, I'm sorry, I just realized I wasn't on the right screen. We will be providing that parent link. We will provide all staff. We're also going to be dropping in the chat a very modeled script just in case you have your front office and a parent calls and says, hey, I heard about this camera policy passing. What is it? What are my next steps? that information is on there, as well as a short Q&A of just some high-level questions that we think. Now, that document is not to be transmitted to families. We do have a Q&A for families that is much more interactive and friendly. What you're receiving is much more calm, black, white, does not have a lot of color or, family communicative pieces, but that will be forthcoming. And then we'll also be sharing with you some letters and things so that you can share with the family. Because of them having to provide written consent, we know that families may have questions, and we want to make sure that we are here to help you answer all of those questions. So at this time, if there's any questions for the greater group, you're welcome to put them in the chat or unmute yourself. If there was anything that I wasn't clear on and you'd like me to go over, please do not hesitate, and I'm happy to repeat it.
Stephanie, I did have a really quick, just if you could put slide 8 back on. They just wanted to look at the fish directions again,
And
where they
Stephanie,
would be.
if you would like, I can do if somebody wants to allow me to share my screen, I can show it in the system as well.
Hi,
Perfect.
Emily. Do we have any principals that want to share their screen
Or I
and
can-
have
I can
Emily
do
walk
it.
us through the steps in real time?
Oh,
Or did you want to share, Emily?
I can share.
Oh,
If
I
you just
can
wanna
make
let-
you a presenter. Yes, absolutely.
Emily, I'll make you a presenter.
Thank you. I thought this may happen, so I have it up and ready to go.
All right, you should be good now.
Okay, and so I am picking on, and I just picked a school, so it's not personal, but I'm picking on a Miss Danielle Smith at Bennett Elementary, because I just want to show it from the lens of somebody with a school admin profile. So just wanted to. Nothing personal, I just picked you. Okay, so when you're in your portal, you can really do this 2 ways. I would do it the master schedule way, master schedule report way, but whatever works for you. You're gonna go to your main menu. Now mine's on the left side. You may have changed yours, so it's across the top, but either way, you wanna go to the main menu and you wanna go to scheduling. So the first way, you're gonna go to your master schedule report. So it would be under current schedule reports, master schedule report. Once you're on here, you're gonna have a bunch, obviously, of sections. For me, it just kind of depends how you want to filter, but I would, like, for example, filter by, let's say, my access classes. Once you get to the section specifically that you need, when you scroll over, there should be a room column. And you may have to add or remove toggles, but there should be a room column, and this is what would be considered a fish number. So the first 2 is usually associated to the building, then a dash, and then the last 3 would be associated to the room number. So we need the whole number, the 85-850. So that is way 1. Any questions on that? All right, and then option 2, starting from the main screen, you would come over to the menu again, go to scheduling. You can go to your courses and sections and then look them up individually. So I'm gonna go to grade to kindergarten here. In this case, I'm just gonna pick the homeroom section because that's where they would, stay all day. I know it's this right here. And once you get into your section, you're going to see that fish number up here. So it's the same thing. It's under room. So again, I think you can get them all in that master schedule report. Would probably be easier, but it may work just as well to just go to the individual sections. You just need that 85-853, and that's what we would use. So I see hands. I have don't know if they're related to this. So if they are, just go ahead and ask away.
Hey, so Dan Most, Hollywood Hills High School. So yes, first question is related to that. So one of my SVE classrooms, I have rooms with those like accordion divider walls. So it's fish 172 and 176. So we use both rooms for one class, but of course, if you look in the master schedule report, there's only one room number will be there. Should I, on the survey, list both room numbers? Are they going to put a camera? Because you would need more than one camera to be able to capture the double room. So just want to see how you would want that listed.
So if there's going to be a camera in each side, essentially, then yeah, you would want to put both fish numbers.
Okay. And then the second question, I think a couple other people put similar questions in the chat. So if I'm understanding correctly, if a single student parent says, absolutely not, I don't want my child recorded, what does that mean for everybody else?
So the way that legal has defined us to interpret the Parents' Bill of Rights is that a classroom must have 100% consent. So if one student does not provide consent, then a camera would not be able to be active in that classroom.
Okay. So will cameras be installed in all classrooms preemptively, or will they not be installed until we get consents back?
I think that right now, because it's the first year, cameras are going to be installed as classrooms reach 100%. But I believe it's the will of the board that eventually all classrooms that are special program classrooms will have the camera, and then it'll just be a matter of activating it or not activating it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then Ms. Reese, yes, you have your hand up.
Yeah, my question was, at the beginning, you showed a slide of all of the classrooms that you're referring to. Would it include PASS and our overage students as well?
It would, because they're accessing a K-12 environment.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to go through the chat, and if I miss your question, please feel free to either unmute or put it back in the chat. So, Ms. Moss, I realized the word not was there. That's been updated already, so please include your pre-Ks. If parents do not complete the consent, are we expected to follow up with them? I think there's a fine line there. We want to make sure that if a parent hasn't completed it, like they just haven't responded at all, that we're making them aware that this policy does exist and that they have the option to opt in or opt out. If a parent responds no, then I think that's, a little different because they've already made their decision. We'll give you some guidance in the site implementation guideline as to, maybe is it every quarter you should be sending out a reminder or things of that, but we'll definitely bring that back with a little bit more guidance. What if 100% of your parents sign consent at first, but then one comes back and changes their minds? If the camera's already installed, the camera can go to not active. So we would have to then turn off the cameras and inform the parents that the camera is no longer active. Thank you, Sabrina. You used the word disabled, which is probably a better word choice. Pre-K parents don't do
Stephanie,
back to
do you want
school.
me to put the script in there, or is that something we're gonna add later?
No, you can go ahead and drop that in there. It's
Okay.
the PDF version that I emailed you.
Yes.
Pre-K parents don't do back to school registration forms online. They enroll at the school. Could we get a hard copy of the form?
Yeah, if I
so
did
the
want
hard
to clarify on that really quickly, this form is not in the back to school forms process. So even if they don't do the back to school forms, it's in the same area in focus for parents, but it's not actually in the package of back to school forms. It's a separate form. So while I'm sure Stephanie's going to say there is a paper form anyways, but just so everyone's clear, it's not actually going to be part of the back to school forms because that's applicable to all of our students. This is a separate form that's only going to be visible to parents with students that have specific identified disabilities. So I wanted to clarify that it's not the same. It is a separate form. So if they complete the back to school forms, that does not mean they have completed this form.
Thank you, Emily. And yes, you could print it, but your IMT and those instructions are forthcoming would have to go in and print the form for the parent, and then they would sign it, and then you would upload it into that student's file.
Will there be, let's say we have a couple of parents who are adamant that they do want their child in a classroom that has audio and video recording, but at least one student has, parent says no. Will there be an expectation of having to give a student a schedule change or anything along those lines?
During the pilot program, and right now thinking forward, we are not recommending that classroom decisions be made based on this, but of course, every case is individual. So if it means, you're not going to leave a classroom with just one student and one teacher because that's the student that said no. But if it's a pretty even 50-50 split and the grades are the same, those are individual conversations we can have with you and your staff if we come across that bridge. Ms. Reynolds, yes, this is inclusive of the pre-K ESE classrooms.
Yeah, And I just want to add to that, you know, a lot of classes, there's only one in each grade level. And, you know, if we move a child, we run the risk that a new student might enter that class with a no also. So it probably would be difficult to move a student. I don't think at this point, that should be part of the conversation. It would be very, very rare that that would be something that you should do, because it can be such a fluid thing. And if we moved a child and then all of a sudden they got a no also, person enter into the classroom, that could be an issue. And also we wouldn't want to allow parents to sort of decide, oh, this was the student who didn't sign, or this was the student who did sign. So we want to kind of keep that information personal also.
And thank you to everyone who's filled out the survey already. I inadvertently set it up to email me, so I'm getting lots of emails that you're completing your survey. Thank you for that.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording at this time, but we will stay on for any questions. So at this time, we're done with the presentation part. So if anybody does need to log off, that's fine, but we are going to stay on for any additional questions people may have.
Hey, yeah, I have a question in regards to the forms. Can you hear me?
Yes.